All right, everybody, and we're live again down here at the donation site, and more 2 trucks, another truck rolled in. All right, can you tell us your name and where you guys are from?
I'm Sierra. I'm from Interiors by Stephen G, and we brought 3 truckloads. Today we're doing this truck right now and distributing all the items and goods for you guys for the hurricane relief.
And can you say the name again, because I think they were busy.
Yes. We're with Interiors by Stephen G.
And where are you located?
We are located in Pompano Beach, Florida.
Pompano Beach, Florida. So you came all the way over here with the truck. How was the ride over?
The ride was very good. We had the Florida Highway Patrol help escort us, so that was great.
Hey, that's a nice way to go, right? How many guys did you bring with you? It looks like you
brought almost our entire warehouse team.
Wow.
Yes.
And so I see lots of water coming out. What other things do you know that's on the...
We have a bunch of personal hygiene. We have, oh my gosh, there's so many. We have a ton. We have pet food. We have women's hygiene products. We have so many. And then we also have the Embrace Girls. They brought some boxes too as well. So
the who was that?
Embrace Girls Foundation.
Do you know about that?
Yes, we actually have the CEO and founder. He's
up
in
there,
there, so we can talk to her. This is Steven.
Hi, Steven. Kim Ryan, Beach Talk Radio. Thank you so much for bringing all this stuff over. I mean, like your shirt says, kindness is free. And we really appreciate you bringing stuff. Now, don't you get all verklempt on me. You're going to make me look unprofessional here.
Pleasure.
Yes. So thanks for coming over. You came all the way over from Pompano?
We are from Pompano Beach, and we have done every hurricane relief since Hurricane Andrew. We did Louisiana, we did Staten Island, we did the Rockaways, we did New Jersey, we did Freeport, Bahamas. We've done them all. We did Baton Rouge in Louisiana, where we dropped off a 53-foot trailer with Christmas gifts for hundreds of children so they would have a Christmas.
What has given you this passion to do this great work?
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We're just so grateful and so thankful.
I think when you're blessed in life and you're successful, you need to give back to the community regardless where. So we have been involved for years. We continue to be. We're even here today with one of our charities that we're very heavily involved with called Embrace Girls Foundation, that we're very passionate, and Velma Lawrence is with us today, the founder of Embrace. We have our friends from Channel 10 here.
Yeah, see
on
that.
the East Coast, and this is all about help and the heart.
Well, we really, really appreciate it, and your generosity is overwhelming, and we just, all of the people here cannot thank you enough for bringing your crew and your supplies and everything over here.
We have had a tremendous amount of support and help from the East Coast community. We have received tens of thousands of dollars in donations, and we shopped for every bit of it. We were hoping that there would actually be people here to accept, because we also bought a ton of Publix gift cards, so that I hope there's a Publix open where they can go in.
Not on the island right now, but off island, and they're working hard to get that Publix up and running, you know, and as you know, this is going to be a long-term kind of go, so people will use those in the future, hopefully in the near future.
When we did the Key West, when they were hitting the Keys, we thought that was bad until we'd gotten here.
Have you been across island yet to see? Yeah. Yeah? No?
What I've seen so far is devastation, and all I could say to everybody, the littlest adds up.
Right. Every little bit.
You got to give.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. It's been my pleasure. Thank you. All right, folks. So there's a guy with a big heart and bringing all this stuff, and his compassion for everybody and his dedication to taking all this stuff and collecting all of that is just amazing. Let's try right now to see who else from the Embrace Foundation. So are you with the Embrace Girls Foundation? And what's your name?
I'm Velma Lauren.
Nice to meet you.
Very same here.
And can you tell us about what the Embrace Foundation is?
The Embrace Girls Foundation is a 501c3 charity,
Okay.
a nonprofit here in Florida. We are South Florida based, Broward and Dade County. We provide after-school programs for little girls. And so Stephen G is one of our sponsors.
Yeah, he's great.
He sent us a note and said that he needed help. So we packed up our boxes.
And what are in those boxes?
You know what? I don't know why. The thing that I like the most are reading glasses. I was obsessed with the reading. Oh, it says on the box what they are.
Oh, oil of Olay, so
Yeah,
personal hygiene stuff. Yeah.
Personal hygiene, reading glasses, even stationery, paper, pencils, paper pads.
I know. Well, thank you. I'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much for bringing it over. And they are just working like crazy to bring this stuff in. All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for this little clip. And I'm going to go help unload some boxes because, you know, that's what I do.
Kim's a rock star.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Beach Time Out in the heart of Times Square. You're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good evening, everybody, and welcome to Beach Talk Radio for Thursday night. It is day 13 of Hurricane Ian relief, and we are here with tons of information tonight. We have great guests. Let me control your microphone for you. Yeah, 13. I changed it. 13 or 14. Speaking of numbers, the fire chief did a press conference today, and he let everybody know that 540 people were rescued, transported, treated, or did not survive. Of that 540, the number he gave on Fort Myers Beach from the hurricane that passed away were 14. So while 14 lives lost is horrible, I really thought the number was going to be higher. So congratulations to all those rescues, and we appreciate everything the chief did and the fire department did, and congratulations to them, and condolences to the 14 families that lost a loved one on Fort Myers Beach. It's amazing that the 14 we knew too, that we know of so far, and that took place earlier today. One other update before
we want to thank all of the folks that were involved in that rescue and recovery, because, you know, it's very, very important.
Before we get to our first guest, the city manager from Panama City, I wanted to let everyone know that when we announced the shirt last night, we had 131 pre-orders of the shirt. And Marie,
to get some different colors too. I've been
Marie,
thinking
stop
about
with
it.
the colors. We're trying to create a yellow army. Yeah, and so what we're doing now is Marie, she has 575 emails that she hasn't gotten to yet. So she's called me all kinds of names about volunteering. I volunteered though for this assignment. So
Welcome, Marie.
but you know how she is. She's putting everything in a spreadsheet, and the folks are paying by PayPal. So I don't have an accurate number of how much money we raised overall. And you guys know it's over $200,000. She's still sorting emails. So we ordered another batch after the first 120. We ordered, I think I ordered 150 or something like that. I'm not real good with numbers today. So if you still want a shirt, it's this bright color yellow. You can still send an email to Marie. So Marie, you're going to have to put your email on there. And on the front, this is the logo that's on the front. So I was a little surprised, but happy. So we once we cover the cost of all the shirts, all the money goes into the employee fund. And we're trying to get as much money into the gift cards as quickly as we can. And I know that you guys want the money right away. You deserve it right away. We're just trying to put it together as fast as we can. I apologize that it's not going out faster, but this is going to be an ongoing process.
Patience. I mean, there's a lot going on, and the banks and everything. It's a lot to coordinate. So we appreciate everybody hanging in there.
And for those of you that are, I'm going to take the call because I think he's calling in now because I'm late. Let's see. Is this Mark?
It is.
Hey, Mark, it's Ed and Kim Ryan. We are live on the air at the #1 radio station in all of Fort Myers Beach. I say that because we're the only one, so I didn't want you to think it's a big deal.
Great. That's great.
And Mark,
part of it.
Mark McQueen is the city manager of Panama City, Florida. And Mark went through Michael, and we were talking earlier, and he mentioned that he was hired 2 weeks before Michael came through his community after doing 36 years in the Army. So
Panama City is beautiful too. I was there one time on spring break many years ago.
Okay, well, we'll keep those memories, right? Right.
We're moving on.
There you go. Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you all so much for the invitation to be on your show and share a little bit about our experience in Hurricane Michael. It's first and foremost, our Mayor Greg Bernicki, and I are here. And first up, our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers are with everybody here, everybody impacted by certainly Hurricane Ian, but this community took a huge hit, and the thoughts and prayers of our citizens are with you. I can tell you there are many efforts up in Panama City and Bay County right now as I speak that are going on in collecting donations, collecting monies, collecting items that we knew that we did not know we needed until we were in the storm, and we now know what is needed in those types of things. And there are trucks that are being loaded even now that are coming this way to help the citizens here, and really we just want to pay it forward. What we experienced after Hurricane Michael was what is really makes America so great, and it is the benevolence of people that you will never meet, you'll never know, but they feel for you, and they will rally and come to your aid, and that certainly was the case in Hurricane Michael. And I see that also in the case of Hurricane Ian, and I just want to pass that on because this was really a tremendous impactful storm that has hurt so many, and we're just here to try to help. And I'm so glad to be on your show, and I thank you for the opportunity to kind of share our story and some lessons learned, and what we would like to do to try to make sure that we're helpful to this community moving forward as it emerges from this storm.
So, Mark, what? Give us an idea what happened to your community when Michael came through.
Yeah, so Hurricane Michael was a Category 5 storm. It's the 4th largest storm to hit the continental United States, and the city of
That's okay. It's
You're
just our
okay.
dog.
You're okay.
Keep take care of this.
That's fine. That's fine. Who let the dogs out, right? So anyway, but the for our storm, it was very different from the storm that appears to be experienced here from Hurricane Ian. Our storm was 160 mile an hour winds, 155, 160 miles. It doesn't matter. It was a lot of wind. It was more like an F5 tornado that sat on the city for about 4 hours, and it did extreme devastation. About 85% of the homes in the city of Panama City were damaged or destroyed. We lost over 1 million trees. We had 5.2 million cubic yards of debris that had to be hauled off. That took 18 months to get that done. And it was a Herculean effort to move that amount of debris. And that's just inside the city, not counting what took place in my sister cities or even in the county, which was just extraordinary. The hurricane came equally as fast as what happened here in terms of when you really could realize that the storm was going to come to this location. Certainly the same was for us. We had no idea. In fact, it wasn't until our storm happened on October 10th, Wednesday, October 10th. And it wasn't until Tuesday morning before the storm that we realized this thing was going from what was just a tropical depression out in the Gulf to what would eventually be a Category 5 storm in just less than 2 days. And so it was very, very, very rapid and very impactful to the community. And it really hurt a lot of citizens. We had 36,000 citizens in the city of Panama City after the storm because of the loss of everything. We went down to about 24,000 citizens. And again, that was in 2018. And people decided that, why stay and have to put up with all of this devastation? When at that time, if you remember, the economy was on fire. You could go anywhere in the United States, get a job, and you wouldn't have to put up with the rebuild. But we're now rebuilding. We're 4 years. This past Monday was our four-year anniversary, and it was. We're still in rebuild. We have over 200 different projects that are going on across the city. It's about a $437 million effort, and it's.
Well, you're throwing a lot of stuff out there. I'm taking notes, and there's going to be so many questions. So,
yeah.
So, Mark, when you first came down San Carlos and started to approach the bridge and saw what you saw with the traffic, and then you got over the bridge, kind of tell us what you saw. I mean, it takes a long time to even get over the bridge, which makes it 10 times worse to try and fix things.
Well, it's exactly what happened in Panama City as well. We have Panama City and you have Panama City Beach, and it's separated by a bridge. Exactly the same thing, one way in, one way out. And it was very, very difficult. And it really, as we did, and what I see happening here is it's imperative to get those essential services up and running, to give way to the power companies, to give way to the utility companies, to give way to the municipalities to get the conditions to be safe and be in a better position to be able to have the citizens be able to start recovering their homes and their businesses. Because if you, just like us, if you have citizens and in the way of utilities trying to take place, it slows them down. It creates hazards. People die. In our storm, we had four utility workers that were killed.
Wow.
It was needless because people were rushing to try to get in and they're not paying attention, and they ran over a well-marked area where the utility workers, where the linemen were hanging their wire, serving that community, and they left their homes to come help us, and their families never got to see their loved one return. And so it's everybody wants to go and get after their property and help start rebuilding and all, and that's exactly natural. It's expected, but it's not a safe situation out there on that island, in my assessment. It's going to take a little bit more time to get the streets clear of the debris so that people can safely move around. It's going to take a little bit longer for utilities, the linemen, to get their power on. And even once the power is available, getting it turned on is extraordinarily challenging, because what you don't want to have is turning on power into a business or a home that's not ready to accept power, and it ignites, it catches fire, and so you don't want somebody to go and hire somebody that's unlicensed that puts in something, a utility, water, sewer, or more particularly electrical, and it's unlicensed, they're unpermitted, they do the work, they close it up and cover it up with sheetrock, and guess what? One day somebody's going to wake up to the smoke in their house, and because it's on fire, and so it's or your neighbor has somebody that does shoddy work, and now it impacts you because you did it right, and your neighbor didn't do it right, and now the fire comes over and burns not only your neighbor's house but your house. It's just it's difficult for sure. And what I'm
FPL has been cutting the lines to homes so that they, in an effort, I guess, to prevent what you're talking about, and it is mandatory that they have an electrical inspection, I think, as well as a structural inspection. So, that's kind of ongoing.
Yeah, one of the things that y'all are having to deal with that we did not deal with is the fact that a lot of your structures were inundated by salt water. Salt water is incredibly corrosive, and you don't know it. That salt gets in those wires, and you'll never know that wire is corroding from within and causing a hazard. So replacing that wire, replacing all of the electronics inside the home is going to be very important, and hopefully good workmanship will take place. And that's kind of what we experienced in Panama City. Same thing is you have a lot of opportunistic people who prey on folks in a great time of disaster. And if I could encourage anything to your listeners, go to the state website that has all of the licensed contractors in the state of Florida. Doesn't matter what the thing is, whether it's electrical, whether it's plumbing, whether it's construction, whether it's roofing, whatever it is, know before you sign.
What is that website, Mark?
It's at the Division of Professional Regulation, DPR website. I'm sorry, I don't know what it. I don't know the website, but
you were talking at the beginning about that sending about supplies, and
yes,
I think that's really, really important, because I think when something like this happens, you're not sure what you need when. Did you guys find? What did you learn from that experience about the staging and timing of materials and supplies and stuff, so that we can kind of, it would be nice if there was a written kind of document about, hey, when this happens, this is kind of what people have learned in the past. So what are your suggestions for that?
So found to be the most effective way is, I think, in the state is certainly taking the lead on this, is to create the volunteerflorida.org as a means for getting resources to affected areas most efficiently. They're well prepared, they're well equipped. A lot of it is the money. so that you have the nimbleness of being able to apply the resources to exactly what's needed. Because what's needed in Fort Myers Beach is different from Sanibel, which is different from other places. But having those resources is so important. Now, I can tell you from our community, they also want to give something. We found that clothes are not what people need to be sent. And it's too difficult. It's very difficult to send clothes because of size, because of male, female, baby, kid, what adult, it's just too hard. And so that's where, gift cards or cash donations to reputable organizations is the way to go. There's a lot of fly by night, quote, nonprofits that will not have all of the resources that you're sending applied to the affected area. They have excessive administrative costs, and what you think you're sending is not getting to where it needs to go. Mm-hmm. But clearly going and donating, and that's what's happening up in the Panhandle. I can tell you they're pushing the donations through these reputable organizations to the volunteerflorida.org website, so that those resources can get here faster to meet the needs of your community.
So what was the story with the 50% rule in your community? Did you guys ease up on it at all? Because that's one of the big questions that's coming. Okay. No. You just said no go.
No. Yeah, no. It's Florida statute, and you start having over 50%, you have to meet new Florida building standards, and that is imperative. And it was pretty clear in Hurricane Michael, when a structure had been built to current codes and standards, right, it significantly withstood the storm better than those that were Florida standard building codes being applied. Similarly, you can see that here on the island. Mm-hmm. You can see homes that were right there on the beach that are current homes, and they look like they've hardly been hit. And homes that were clearly built much earlier or earlier than the current building code didn't have a chance. And so that 50% rule is really something that I would recommend that it be held to, because it will make for a better community, and and in the end, everyone wins, because then your collective ISO rating for your community improves, which means collectively the insurance rates go down for everybody because of the ISO rating of that community.
When you went around Fort Myers Beach and you saw what was happening and you kind of took it in, did you feel, and be totally honest with this here, not that you haven't been, but when you see what's going on with the trucks and with all the work going on, did you say, wow, this looks like a well-oiled machine that's moving along the way it should be? Or, man, I got to go talk to people. This isn't looking like it's working. Where does
yeah. So I spent a lot of there's an old expression in the Army. People rush to the sound of the guns, right? And everybody wants to respond and help, and that's good. We want that. But in our case, in Hurricane Michael, you get subsumed and overwhelmed, and your infrastructure can't support this infusion of people, all well-intentioned, but it's not the priority. The priority for us, we were without water, sewer, power, communications for over a month. 100% zero. None of those existed, and it was difficult. And yet people came in, and now it becomes an increased burden to your law enforcement, increased burden to your fire department, increased burden to your EMS personnel, and increased burden to your solid waste people and trash people. I mean, it just becomes more of a burden. So there's a in our experience was that there's a phasing that needs to take place, and getting the essential services, keeping people away, getting the essential services in place, getting the location that was hit safed off so that people won't harm themselves is really the priority. And so just like Panama City, we had a throngs of people that came in. I see the same thing here, that because everybody wants to rush in there and do what they think is right, and they're doing what's right. It's just what's the right time to do that. And right now, getting those streets cleared is imperative. Otherwise, it's going to be a snail's pace in recovery. And the only way that can happen is to minimize the excessive vehicles coming into the islands, just like we had to minimize the excessive vehicles coming into the city of Panama City.
When you did that, what was the reaction and the response from the citizens?
Well, everybody wants to get back and get to their homes and do the things that they want to do to start getting on with life. And there's tensions are high, there's anxiety, there's frustration, just like we experienced in Panama City. I assume that to be the case here. Yep. I've not talked to many residents because there aren't that many residents out that I'm on the island that I've been talking to. I've just been here 2 days. But I can only imagine, just like in Hurricane Michael in Panama City, people are anxious to get back to their homes, but until it's safe to do that, it's not prudent to do that. And giving up a few more days, a week, whatever it's going to take for the linemen to get the lines back up safely, to get the water reestablished and make sure it's potable so that people aren't get sick, to make sure that the roads are clear so that people don't harm themselves with debris that is everywhere, is really very important to do. And they can get it done faster if citizens can hold back just a little bit longer. But to your point, everybody wants to get going, and there's a lot of impatience. But then the fact is, they'll get out on the island, just like in Panama City, they'll get into the city, and they say, well, why can't you get this done? Well, you can't do it if everybody's in your way to do it. And I have to tell you, I am impressed with all of the folks that have responded, not only like they did to Panama City in our time, but here in Ian in your time. When you look at the army of responders, whether it's fire, police, EMS, linemen from all over the country, all over the state, that have come, and they've come because they want to help. And what I would suggest, just like we encouraged our citizens, let's let them help so that we can get back on our feet faster.
Yeah. Now, what can you say to people about, the endurance that they're going to need, because this is going to take some time, and I assume it took a great deal of time in Panama City. Like, how long did it take you guys to kind of recover, and what can you say to people to encourage them in that vein?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll tell you, for Panama City, it took us 18 months of debris removal. 18 months. We had 1 million trees that fell on homes, on streets, on buildings. We had horrific damage. Like I said, most of the houses and buildings in the city were damaged or destroyed. It takes an extraordinary amount of time to get that debris out. And with what I've seen in just the small space that I've been able to drive through in the last couple of days, this is a lot of debris. Yeah. And on top of that, the complexity of what we did not have, which was the number of vessels that I have seen. That is going to be tedious to the nth degree to have to get all of those vessels out of the mangroves and where they are. I mean, how those vessels got to where they are, I know it was because of the surge, but it's unimaginable to folks unless they actually see it.
Yeah. You should have saw it a week ago when it was even worse.
Oh yeah. But to my point, it's going to take time. Yeah. We're 4 years post storm. Wow. We are 4 years after Hurricane Michael, and we're still rebuilding essential services: the water lines, the sewer lines, the lift stations, the roads. It's a massive lift, and as tragic as Ian was, and it was horrific, and particularly in the loss of life, over 100 individuals that lost their life because of the storm, and I grieve for those families that have lost loved ones and neighbors and friends. But the city and this community at large, Lee County and all of the other areas that were impacted by it, can come back better if people work together and they share what can we imagine for a better community. For the city of Panama City, that's what we did. We created a citizen-driven process that created that was organized by a new urban planner by the name of Dover Coal Partners, which are down out of Miami. They did their new urbanism planners. They came in and helped us with town hall meetings and focus group meetings and charrettes. And through that, we created neighborhood plans that everyone that has elicited and gained anywhere from 87 to 95% approval rating of the direction the city's going because they participated in the plan.
What was that group again? What was
Dover Coal, KHOL, Dover Coal Partners. And they're an amazing outfit. I've shared the same with the local leadership here at the county and the city level to say, absent of a plan, there is no plan. And if you have a plan, then you will be eligible for applying for resources through the myriad of grants that are going to be available. And I'm getting ready to throw out some alphabet soup here: the HMGP, the CDBGDR, the buyout, the DEO programs, the DEM programs, the DEP programs, the DOT programs. It's a myriad of different funding sources that come together, and it's challenging. It's incredibly difficult and bureaucratic, and I say that with all respect, and I understand why it has to be. I don't personally like that, and I've been very vocal about this, and I've said this to everyone all the way up into the senior leadership of FEMA, that I have been able to rebuild countries after deployment and be a part of those efforts in Bosnia and Afghanistan and Iraq faster than here in the United States with the federal programs and the methodologies that those funds are distributed. But it's the process, and you have to do that until the process changes. And so here we are, 4 years post-storm, and this past Monday, our 4-year anniversary, we received $50 million in grants approved for the city to be able to continue to work on its infrastructure. It just takes, and we have about another 3 to 4 years to execute all those dollars. So I'm anticipating it'll be 8 years post-storm that we will be done with all of those projects. And so it is time consuming, it is tedious, and you have to do it the right way to be audit ready, audit worthy every day. And that's the mantra I share with my team in Panama City. I've shared it with the team here, that you have to set up those systems and those processes to ensure that you don't get a clawback after it's all said and done because you didn't dot the I, cross the T, have the document, have the paper, whatever it is. It's because it goes through a 100% audit before the federal government closes out this storm 10 years from now. It's very difficult.
Can I ask you, what is the size? So people are asking that there's Panama City and then there's Panama City Beach. What is the size population wise of Panama City Beach?
Let me think about this. They are 12,000.
Okay. So it is.
Yeah, the census, according to the census, there were 12,000.
Mark, how did you not go bankrupt when this thing was in its first few months?
Hey, great question, Ed. The city had pretty healthy reserves. We had about $14 million in reserves, and I spent that in less than 5 days. Sure. And I had to go out and get a loan, and the city was in strong financial position. We secured $155 million to do just the debris bill. And I've said this many, many times in many conferences where I've been asked to speak, that I think that the entire apparatus for disaster recovery is built the wrong way. And it's all tied back to the Stafford Act. And the Stafford Act is that which creates FEMA and the funding streams to be able to have FEMA, this congressional legislation that allows funding to go into FEMA so FEMA can respond to disasters, of which there's 50 to 60 disasters that national, federal disasters every year. So they're busy people, and they're great Americans working their tails off serving other great Americans. So it's a difficult position, but here's the deal. And I've said this many times, that the entity least able to handle the financial burden of a disaster is actually expected to be able to handle 100% of it and then claim reimbursement.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, that is a challenge. That is when a community is at the tip of the spear, they're at the tactical level, that community is working hard to serve its citizens and build back its key and vital infrastructure and to get businesses open and get homes back. That's where they need to be supported. But right now, they've got to go out and pay for it and then submit for reimbursement. Today, I got a note from my staff today while I'm down here that today we received, out of that $155 million, I still am owed, the city is still owed $18 million, 4 years after the storm. Today, we received $8 million. So I'm now down to the last $10 million, and I'm 4 years post-storm for the debris. I'm not even talking about all the other projects. So, and I've had to carry that burden, or our citizens have to carry that financial burden until it gets reimbursed. And I think that's wrong. And I've shared that with the senior leadership of the federal government. I've shared that at the state level and certainly at conferences. And something fundamentally has to change. And I'm concerned for smaller communities in the city of Panama City. We have wonderful sister cities that are very, very small, 2,000, 3,000. I've got one city, it's a sister city that's 3 miles away, and they have their total city landmass is 2 square miles. And
something that small. Yeah, exactly.
They could go bankrupt.
Yeah.
So, Mark, let me ask you this: when you were getting into the first few days and weeks, from experience of these last 2 weeks, the citizens are just like they're gluttons for information. They need to know, for obvious reasons. They want to know how their house is. Is there going to be mold? What's the electrician going to cost? How do we get back on the island? What time's the curfew? Everything. I mean, we've gotten millions of questions. How did you communicate with the citizenry right after this thing went down?
Well, it was very difficult because, again, for a month, 0 cell communication, 0 electricity, 0 water, 0 sewer. Fortunately, there was a local college radio station that could operate, and Gulf Coast State College. And the problem was, guess what? Most citizens, first of all, they sometimes don't listen to public radio stations, number one. Number two, most people don't have a transistor, so they had to go sit in their cars to listen to any guidance that was given out by the state, the county, or the city. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to communicate. And I don't know this community very well, and so forgive me, but I take it that there are people that live here, and that there are people that have second homes here.
Exactly right.
So you have people that are not living here that have a home here. And so how do you do it? And I think that what I've seen is that for at least the city of Fort Myers Beach, that they're striving hard to publish on their website all of the instructions that are going on with regard to what's the latest and how to do this, that, or the other. And so what I've encouraged them to do is continue to do that. I've also encouraged them to maybe create a FAQ page, because everybody's asking the same question. And I'm sure I can only imagine, I haven't asked any of the staff there in the Fort Myers Beach, I'm sure their emails are blowing up. And it's a lot of people asking the same kinds of questions. And you have to understand, as I could see, as I was just in their operations center, these folks that are working, they also lost their homes.
Right.
Their families are trying to pick up the pieces while their loved one is out working on a utility line or working on some aspect of recovery. And so it's the same thing when I was in Panama City. I have 435 employees, and I would tell you most of my employees lost their homes.
Wow.
But they came to work. They came to help those that whom they love and support and work for, which is the citizens. And I would tell you it's a hard job. It's very difficult and for my employees to have done that. And I can see it in the faces of and the eyes of the employees here that they have been working. I can see it looks like very, very hard. Again, I only got here 2 days ago, and I'm looking in the faces and the eyes of folks, and they're tired, they're fatigued, they don't know what's going to happen on their home, they don't know where their families are going, what's going on with kids, and all those things. And in fact, I was just sitting in a restaurant, and this lady next to me was talking to the lady, not that I was overhearing, but she was pretty loud. And she was talking about
Fort Myers Beach, Mark. We're all out.
But she said something that is so exactly right, and it was the same thing in Panama City. She was talking about, hey, I decided I wanted to go get my nails done, and she called the place, and we're open. And so she went there, and she said, I went there, and I not only went there and got my nails done, but I was surprised they were open. Number one. Number two, their place was kind of wrecked up, but they're trying to keep that business open, keep those people employed. And she said, and I tipped the lady, I don't know what you call the pedicurist, manicurist, whatever, those people. The nail technician. There you go. Obviously, I've not been to a nail technician.
Me neither, but I have family members who do.
Yeah, there you go. And the lady continued, and she said, and I tipped her really well because this is what makes our community so great. We have so many people in different locations that are working hard to earn a living, to take care of their families. And a lot of these folks that I can see have been negatively impacted by the storm. Right. They may have lost their jobs because that business has been destroyed.
Exactly.
And
right.
so you've got to help. You got to help your neighbors helping neighbors. You got tip a little extra. Take care of it. Go out of your way to help somebody else. And I'm going to tell you, it's a game changer. And not only is it a game changer in helping that person that may be on the brink of losing everything, but it builds community. It builds a unity. It builds that family. We're in this together. And if I can encourage your listeners, there's a lot of people that are going to be doing a lot of different services for folks, whether it's HVAC, electrical, plumbers, roofers, contractors, construction workers, boat repair people, engine repair people, car repair people. Everybody's going to be touched by this. Take care of each other.
Yep.
Help each other.
Well, Mark,
that's my take.
We on that note, it's a great way to end it. We really appreciate your time, and thanks for coming down to Fort Myers and Fort Myers Beach and checking things out and lending your advice. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much to both of you for what y'all are doing to get the word out. We are humbled to be able to be here. The mayor and I, we want to pay it forward. This looks to be a beautiful community. I can't wait to see how it emerges like a phoenix from the ashes, right? How it emerges from this entire event. And I can assure you, it's very hard to understand this right now, but you will emerge better, and the community will be better as a result of it. And you'll be proud of the outcome.
Thanks
There's
a lot.
got to be some patience. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Mark McQueen, the Panama City manager. I guess you would say Panama City manager is what you would call him, right? Well, he went through the same exact thing, and it's nice to have somebody with experience come down. And we're going to have Dan Allers on in a minute. We have been kind of scrolling through your comments and questions. I did want to go back to Megan Heil's comment here. When Megan says she's been on the island and posting on Facebook, is Megan talking about the nail technician? I mean, if the nail technician, or is it somebody else, and I'm confusing two different posts? If the nail technician is actually open for business somewhere, please post it on there, who she is and where she is, so we can all go get our toenails done, or something like that.
She is not. Whoever that is not going to want to see you coming with those talons you got. No way.
When Mark says, I am going to read this before I dial Dan's number. When Mark says neighbors helping neighbors, this is what you guys did earlier today. A lady Her first name is Deborah. She sent me an email. She said she needed someone to lift a few boxes for her. And yeah, I know you're concerned about this, for her 78-year-old mom at the South End in, I'm not going to say where. Well, it's Fairview Isles. Her mom is heading to the beach early in the morning to start wiping off the stuff she's keeping. She has a few tubs she needs to move into the yard since she can't work in the house with the mold. She's pretty robust for her age, but was concerned about having to lift them. Deborah is in Australia, so she was unable to do anything to help out. And she needed a little help with her 78-year-old mom. So I posted it just like that on Facebook. And I got an email from her later on in the day. She said, "Hi, Ed and Kim. Just an update. I was able to make contact with 3 Fairview Isle neighbors through your post and another one from the South End. 2 dropped by and spoke with my mom. They report she is well and in good spirits. What a fantastic community." So hats off. You guys out there, 3 bells for you. Very nice job. Excellent. So do you want to talk real quick about how your day was down at the Buttonwood location? And then I'll dial Dan.
Tape or no?
What tape?
The video.
We played it before the show. It was totally live. Yeah. Every night we do the show, I'm going to play somebody's video or maybe one of your videos.
Played it.
No, well, we could do that too, but
Well, I just want to say that, I was down there today, and more and more people are showing up to get things, and they're so grateful for everything. And they're, I don't want to take too much. I'm like,
take it.
There's 9,000 things of toothpaste. Take what you need. There's a lot of stuff. And today, construction stuff, that's what we're at. That's what they are after. Tools, power tools, rakes, shovels, floor fans, like those box fans. People were asking for those. Just that kind of stuff, construction stuff. And that I was giving out masks. A lot of these guys and all of these people are cutting drywall, and it's getting in. So then for a while we had lots of trucks coming in, and we got to meet Stephen G, who's the owner of Interiors by
to Kenny G in any way? Was he playing a flute along the way?
Nope. Interiors by Stephen G out of Pompano. And he's the guy that you saw in, if you didn't catch that clip, you have to catch that. He is so passionate about helping people. They've helped in all different hurricane situations. And he literally gets very emotional about the importance of helping others and giving back. And he was with the Embrace Girls Foundation, which we got to meet Velma Lawrence, who's the,
I love Velma.
She's really, they were a dynamic
duo.
And
then somebody moseys on by and you don't even recognize who it is.
What do you mean?
Byron Donalds walks by.
Somebody was like trying to push a bunch of stuff on a dolly. Well, one of those 4-wheeled things, and it's just in plastic, so it's wet and things are falling. So I'm like, hey, let me help you out. And so we're pushing stuff up, and looked up. He looks familiar. Get stuff, and then I turn around and the emblems on his shirt.
You had to help Byron.
Hey.
The box. That's not what you're saying.
No, he can lift whatever, but it was just falling all over. So he was gracious enough to interview and talk with people and get pictures, and he was just getting the word out about all the areas that are so devastated by Hurricane Ian. And they were going from place to place to place with these trucks loaded with items. So that was very emotional for me. And all of the workers from Interiors by Stephen G, that we're all hugging at the end. Just such nice people.
Yeah.
Such nice people.
I'm kind of glad I wasn't there today. It was my day though.
I'm glad you didn't tape, because
you would have cried.
It was very emotional today. And so many people came up, thanked everybody for what they were doing, thanked you and I.
Stop thanking us. We're not really doing anything.
They're really over.
People came by the house today to pick up the generators that John Petrick, hope I'm saying his last name right, sent in the mail. He sent 8 generators, and we posted that to Facebook, and they were gone in 5 minutes. More are on the way. When we get them, we will disperse of them quickly. We had somebody that gave away 2 adult bicycles in our neighborhood.
Yeah,
and
that's the other thing. They were saying they needed
bicycles would be a great way to get around if you don't have to get in the car.
820 Buttonwood. Get this wrong. Or what? But it's It's right down there at the base of the bridge.
Everybody should know where it is by now.
It's to 3.
Yeah. Try and stick to those hours if you can, because the
Yeah.
volunteers are getting loopy. So we gave those away. We gave away $6,000 in cash to the workers, and I know, like I said earlier, it's not fast enough. So we're working on making it faster. And just so the folks on the island know, Amazon called and said they're delivering 8 pallets of water tomorrow.
We're not here.
576 cases of water will be delivered to Santini Plaza. So I told them to go to Santini Plaza and to go by the ATM machine. So I'm hoping that that's a good spot. And, it would be nice if they got some portable showers down at Santini Plaza. A lot of people have been asking about that. I know they have them down at the Camp Lejeune there at Town Hall with the fence around it. So if they make the Santini Plaza, if, like Mark says, it's going to take a long time, maybe they should move some showers down there too. Right now we're calling.
Well, that's because he stepped on me. It's 10 to 3. The hours are 10 to 3.
So sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, Town Councilman Dan Allers joins us. How are you, Dan?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Have you been getting any sleep?
What's that?
Have you been getting any sleep?
A couple hours a night, yeah.
Awesome. So what kind of updates can you bring us from the town's perspective, and what are you hearing? I know you were at the conference today that Chief Ron Martin had. So what do you want to chat about tonight?
Well, I got to meet the mayor and the town manager, the city manager of Panama City today. I had a great conversation with them to kind of pick their brain a little bit about what they went through, obviously 4 years ago in Hurricane Michael, and it was really nice to hear a different perspective of what they saw, what they reacted to, how they had to deal with it, and the similarities were chilling, actually. But it was a great conversation. It gave me a lot of great ideas. They had a lot of great ideas.
Right.
So hopefully we can implement some of them. I know one of the big questions is the permitting.
Right.
So I've been asking questions about that. I did not get any chance to ask today if there was any changes or updates, but essentially, the short version is you get your structural engineer report, you get your electrical contractor report. As soon as you submit those online, and they'd really like you to submit them online. Obviously, it's pretty hectic around the town hall area. So coming in with paper stuff can be very cumbersome, and we don't have the space to obviously store it. So if you can send them in electronically, the town manager has told me that you can instantly put in for your permit. Another question that obviously has been out there is the permit fees. Will they be waived? Will they not be waived? At the time you get your permit, there'll be no permit fees, is what I've been told.
Right.
And when town council can get together and discuss whether we want to waive fees, discount fees. Oh, listen to that. Another nation heard from back there.
It's another delivery. It's been nonstop delivery today. So obviously every time somebody comes for delivery, it's crazy mayhem with the dogs, but permitting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So at the time you issue, it's my understanding, and what has been told to me is that when the permit is issued to you, that there won't be a fee at the time, but depending on the direction of town council, permit fees could or could not be assessed later towards the end. But the process sounds like it should be fairly streamlined. Once you get those two things in, you can apply for the permit instantly.
Got it. We tried to get Daphne to come on to answer any questions. Oh, I'm talking over you with your phone on mute, my phone on mute. So we did actually try to get Daphne on, who's in charge of the permitting. But the PIO shot us down on that. So we'll just move on to try and get people information the way that we're doing it now, with getting it from you and from Jim Adderholt, which has been working out pretty well. So no charges for the fees now. And that might change when the town council meets. When is the town council going to meet?
My understanding is there'll be a meeting next week. I don't know the exact date yet, but I've been told that we will have a meeting next week. I don't know the date yet.
Off the island?
No, my understanding is it will be on the island at the makeshift town hall that's set up inside one of the white tents.
Do you think that's got ample space and gives people time to get down there if they want to make public comment?
Well, hopefully that it's advertised appropriately, which I have no doubt it will be, and people will be able to come in. Parking is obviously going to be an issue, and that could change. That it could be that this is not going to be a feasible space and it will get moved somewhere else. But as of now, the latest information I have is it's going to be in the what is the makeshift town hall white tent on the closest to the bay side, kind of where the kayak launch was there. That tent closest to that.
Got it. So Dan, I talked to Terry, a relative who's an engineer, and dear, your microphone's not on. I am not turning your microphone on and off anymore. It's the only
electrician.
What did I call him?
An engineer. He's an electrician.
He's an electrical engineer of some sort, but he knows what he's doing. So he called me at 11:30, and he was stopped in traffic on the way to the beach. And I'm sure you're hearing the same thing about the traffic. But is there?
He's experiencing it.
Yeah. Can there be some kind of resolution? Like, these are the people that the residents need to have at their homes so that they can obviously get power at some point that can't get onto the island. Have you heard of any possible solution for that?
After talking with the, Mark McQueen, who I believe you had on earlier, and I can never remember pronouncing that. Bradinsky, Mayor Bradinsky, sorry. I can never get his name right. It's like the D in the middle as I always get hung up on. But they had some very good suggestions. Obviously, we've done things a little bit different than they did, but I did have a conversation with Roger today about traffic patterns. I did talk with Captain Layler today about traffic patterns. Obviously, I think it's important that we try to make it as streamlined as possible. One of the scenarios that Roger and I talked about was if it can work, and I have not talked to the Lee County Sheriff's Department about this, so I'm just kind of giving you the information that I have, and what I have in my head is if we can use 2 or 3 lanes to set it up where the residents have their parking pass to be able to get on one lane, contractors for the town or FEMA have another lane, and then every other contractor has a third lane. That could potentially work in speeding up traffic onto the island if you're a resident to be able to get to your home allow traffic, and allow the traffic. That's just one idea that was kind of kicked around, but there's discussions. Roger and I don't know if we'll be able to touch base tonight, but if not, we will touch base in the morning to try to see if we can figure that out. I'll reach out to the Sheriff's Department to see what works for them, because we need to make it easier on them. If residents already have their parking pass, so it's not like we have to reinvent the wheel here. We can use the parking pass to be able to create a lane for residents to be able to get on the island much quicker to get to their homes. Now, you're still going to have time to get your adjusters in there and that and this, but it's important to get the residents to their homes every day if they want to go work on it, which many are.
Mm-hmm.
I see them in the morning in the traffic, and then I see them in the afternoon coming off grabbing supplies that they're going to need for the next day. So I get to talk to a lot of them. I get to hear a lot of them. Many I would never have expected to see come walking in to pick up supplies, but they're in there just like everyone else.
And people come to 820 Buttonwood and get supplies, please. I mean, they're going to keep coming, and they're not going to run out. So come and get supplies. Get what you need. Take what you need. There's plenty to go around.
And speaking of that, Dan, somebody was asking specific items to donate, and I know I was putting out some stuff earlier, but if you could reiterate what items are needed, and I will just tell you that Ed's going to be bringing down actually some more extension cords, some of the things that we talked about today. But if you could just give people an idea of what else that you need.
Well, right now, it's kind of I kind of expected it and told you about a week or 2 ago or whatever, week and a half ago, that the next kind of phase is going to go from food and things like that into shovels, rakes, garbage cans,
keep going.
Containers, small generators that are easy to carry. Not everybody necessarily needs the big honking 6,500 watt generators, but just smaller ones that are more efficient on gas. It's still enough to run fans. It's not going to run your entire house by any means, but it'll at least make it comfortable for you if you're choosing to stay on the island overnight. Pump-up air mattresses, things like that. Those are things that are really being asked a lot. Gas, we're running really low on gas.
Mm-hmm.
we had an abundance of it with cans, but people just keep coming in and needing gas. And when they're coming in and they're grabbing things, they're also grabbing a little bit of food here, a little bit of food there, toilet paper. As I told you last time we spoke, we did take, and I think, Kim, you documented it pretty well, that we took a bunch of supplies to the south end at Santini. We took a bunch of supplies to the 7-Eleven right across from Junkanoo.
Hammerheads.
With the help, right at Hammerheads. And I went by today a couple times, and as I kind of imagined, all the rakes, brooms, shovels, all that stuff was gone instantly.
Oh.
Some of the food is going. I'm noticing some of the bleach is going fast. Hand sanitizer is going from those locations. So I would say any kind of construction thing. Now people are starting to ask, do we have any sawzalls? Do we have any skill saws?
That's the big one, the sawzalls, and then safety glasses, which
I don't think we ordered those.
Yeah, no. There was a few down there, but they need those. They have plenty. I mean, the masks. I was encouraging people to use masks while they're cutting up the drywall, because God only knows. And then someone came in for fix a flat because they got a flat on their wheelbarrow tires. So
all right, Jessica, she's listening. Change the Amazon wish list. She's been updating the Amazon wish list to those things. And the goggles, I don't think we've gotten one pair of goggles here in the mail. So Dan, what is the a couple quick questions, rapid fire? No, we didn't have any masks.
A couple other questions that I had today, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
because I'm sure they're questions. Obviously the debris removal. I think people understand now that the county is assisting us in getting rid of the debris as fast as they can, to get it to Bay Oaks, get it processed, get it off. I had a couple of residents today stop me after the briefing this morning and say, we're willing to get rid of our debris. Can we just bring it somewhere on the island and drop it off? Unfortunately, you cannot do that. So what I did not know, and I think is very interesting, when you see those big trucks that go around with the crane that has a trailer behind it, they pick it all up. Not only do they have the person that's driving the truck and doing the crane, they also have a spotter that's in that seat that literally all their job is to make sure that what's going in that truck, they're debris monitors, essentially. They're making sure things aren't mixed together that should be, so that when it gets to the processing center, it gets processed and it gets sent out. So they were saying there's no place for them to bring the stuff on the island, and they thought that they would have to take it to the dump and pay for it. Well, they told me that there are locations all over Lee County that you could take debris if you choose to take it away yourself and dump it for free. You can go to the Lee County's website. You can go search debris, and it'll tell you all the locations that you can take it for free if you choose to want to get it out of your yard or take it. I did not know that either. I just found that out today. So I had a really good conversation with our Homeland Security representative that's down here. I think his name is Bill Heyer. If I remember, Brad or Bill Heyer. Bill Heyer, I think was his name. Very, very good guy. I talked to him for probably 15, 20 minutes. I asked him a lot of specific questions about the 50-50 rule. How does that pertain? Who's who is requiring the structural engineer? Is it FEMA? Is it the town? Just try to get some clarification from him on that. He did not know all the answers, which a lot of us don't, but he said he would get that information and get it back to me as soon as he can. So I'll stay in contact with him, and as soon as I hear back, I will certainly pass it on to the listeners and the residents as fast as I can.
So I posted something this morning after hearing people sitting in line. Why can't they open the island at 5? I mean, what's the downside to that?
5 a.m.
Well, the downside is I mean, we knew how dark Estero Boulevard was to begin with before the storm. Now there's no lights. And these workers are out there trying to work as early as they can.
Okay.
And safety. And to get, and it's safety, exactly. To get people, and these trucks that are working with these big, these cranes don't have lights on them. Even if you light up the street, there's only so much they can see when that thing goes down. It could grab something it's not supposed to grab.
Fair enough.
So that's part of it. So as soon as FPL can get the feeder line lit up and we can get some lights, we could probably relax the curfew things, but it's safer for everybody to be able to move on the island, because when you're down there at night, it is
fair enough
pitch dark.
Yeah,
the traffic is overwhelming.
On that note, people are asking about the South Bridge, and I know that's not the town of Fort Myers,
but damn word about that bridge.
Have you heard anything about that getting repaired or opened or something? Because that would,
Would help.
I
Would help.
have not heard anything yet. I did try to reach Commissioner Sandelli today and was not able to make contact with him. Obviously, he's extremely busy,
Right.
as well. So I know he'll get back to me, and I'll try to get an update on that for you, as
All right.
well as the sewer and the water. The last information that I have on the sewer and water is it wasn't today. I haven't got an update as of today, but as of yesterday, they were able to test up to Linnell. So they had water to Linnell, not to the homes, but the main feeder line being tested. I did see them testing even further north today, opening up the fire hydrants and getting water run. So I haven't gotten an update as to where the main feeder line for the water has been pressure tested from the county side yet. And obviously, once that's done, then you can start testing the side streets to make sure that our system is holding before we can release it to the homes.
Got it. What are the chances of like a portable, not a portable, but an ice truck being the first truck in, or a gas truck being a first truck in, and just parking at Santini Plaza?
It's not a bad idea. Maybe we can reach out. That's one of the things we can reach out to for a donor that could maybe.
Was.
Problem is, well, you got the problem you have is, you could probably get a container out there that even if it doesn't work, if you could bring ice out.
Yeah.
And put it in there for the day, it'll probably get used up very quickly. Maybe that's something that we could put on the recommendations for donors if people are looking for something to do. If they could donate some sort of freezer or some sort of something we could set out there to get an ice company to come out and drop some ice in. It's not a bad idea. It's something worth looking into.
I'm just a dinky little podcaster with 9 listeners, but why doesn't somebody like organize a little camp at Santini Plaza? Like you got a chain link fence and everything now at Town Hall, like it's a camp or something. Why not this? Do they not like the people on the south end or something?
No, it has nothing to do with liking or not liking it. It really has to do with, our staff is working their absolute tails off. I was, you could see it in their faces. You could see it this morning when I was listening to the briefing and just kind of looking at the staff, not necessarily listening to all the details that were coming out because a lot of it was repetitive, but watching their faces, you could tell these people are physically tired. They're doing the absolute best that they can under the circumstances, and we don't have the resources.
Right. No, I don't mean the town. I don't mean the town. I mean, why not like 5 National Guardmen or something like that? It just seemed like
I don't think they're there.
I know they're not there, but can't somebody request like we need some help on the south end? I wouldn't want the staff to be down there too, and when they're already set up in a situation where they can answer questions. But it would seem like you get some showers, you get some toilets, you got a tent because all our volunteers are doing is going down there and dropping the stuff off, right?
Well, at this point, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. We're, obviously Kim has been heavily involved in helping us every day and in getting stuff down there. So we're trying to get stuff down there the best that we can. Is it ideal? Probably not. As far as the National Guard, I can't speak for the state as to, I don't know that they're going to use the resources of National Guard to stand down there to, hand out hot meals. But there's plenty of companies out there that are willing to, as the other day, the Palm Beach barbecue place or whatever it was down there handing out meals. So there's people that are willing to do that. But
in the progress group that came and helped, get that the day that we were taking stuff down to Santini, I mean, we were all able to load that container. Like that was a huge help because it was a huge amount that you could get in one fell swoop. And the guy driving that truck could have parked that thing on a dime anywhere. And they were great, as was the group today. But I'm just saying that, getting supplies down on the beach was really accelerated by those guys volunteering and coming down.
We had somebody call, Dan, that said, she called and she said, hey, I got 200 or 250 spaghetti and meatball meals or something like that. I'm going to go. I said, all right, go ahead down to the south end. The people on the south end are starving to death down there. You need to go down there and give them some food. She goes, okay, I'll go down to Santini Plaza. Of course, she had no idea about the traffic. And then she goes, when I get there, will you have tables and chairs set up for us? I was like, lady, do you see anything? What's going on here? There's tables and chairs. Just go down there and give them bags.
and a good story along that line, and it kind of makes you chuckle. But when we were dropping the product off down at Santini Plaza, and there was countless amounts of food. It may not be the highest thing on your priority list to eat, but if you were hungry, and a guy actually walked up talking about the Progress Group, the owner of the Progress Group was there and helping unload and doing everything he can, donating all his resources and all his guys to help move all this product. And someone walked up to him. Someone walked up to him and said, "Do you have a chicken sandwich?" He's like, "No, we don't have a chicken sandwich." He's like, "I got some SpaghettiOs and I got some squares."
And you're gonna have to eat them with your hands.
Now, having said that, the Mercy Kitchen people were handing out chicken that day, but you got to go and get it.
So what's going on tomorrow? Anything exciting tomorrow that we should look forward to? I mean, every day I think maybe this one's going to be a little more quiet, and then all of a sudden things are bouncing off the walls.
No, I mean it's fast paced. It's moving. It changes nonstop. When you get people like that where I got to speak to today that have been through it.
Yeah,
you get to pick their brain. That really gives you ideas. It really gives you comfort knowing that you're not in it alone. You got a lot of resources out there. We just have to tap into them, which I think is happening, whether it's state or federal. It's tapping into everything you can. As I'm sure you've probably heard, the debris cleanup alone is going to be extremely expensive, and if it's not managed properly, could do a lot of damage or bankrupt the town. And that's something that's very important. Obviously getting water back and getting electric and all of that is also very important, but that is one aspect that a lot of people don't talk about or think about. And it's something that we have to be very cognizant of as we move forward.
Last question.
Someone was mentioning on there that I think someone might be related to you, was saying that it would be nice, like one thing that would be useful, as we were just talking about, is if someone had a box truck that they could, let you guys use, sort of like Tony Bone did for a while.
We need one here at the house. Get stuff down there.
So if anyone out there has, a bigger box truck that can be used, they would really appreciate it down there.
So Dan, last question, then we'll let you get some 2 hours of sleep. Where are all the cars going? We actually had somebody say, where is my car? I mean, where do I go looking for my car? So what did they do with all the cars? I mean, you might not know that now, but do you? If not, how can we find out?
Along that point, that's another issue that, I'm hearing a lot of is obviously, in just my case, my truck is sitting in somebody else's yard. And of course that homeowner is, every day I go by to try to check to see if it got picked up. It's still sitting there surrounded by debris. And, obviously the neighbors or the people whose house is blocking their driveway are not very happy. And, so they're doing the best that they can to get on and get their stuff out of there. Ideally, I think it would be great if they could come on in the middle of the night and retrieve all these cars. Obviously the police presence is pretty heavy there, but if they could come on and retrieve these cars at night, if they could show what they're supposed to get, but in a perfect world, but to help alleviate some of it. But that goes right into all the debris. I had a gentleman today after the meeting with the fire chief stopped me and he goes, who can I contact about? I've got the entire tiki bar from the Wyndham in my backyard. Who can I contact to get that removed? And unfortunately, the answer right now is you just got to be patient. You got to start to remove this debris. The county is working on it. The town's working on. There's legal things involved, and then people get it. And the last thing I want to do is tell someone I don't have an answer for you, but they need to know that I'm working on it. The town staff is working on it. The county's working on it to try to get it cleaned up as fast as you can. And one of the things I took away from the mayor today and the manager from Panama City was how long it took for them to get the debris removed. I was quite shocked in hearing that.
18 months.
But it's understandable, right? I mean, it's when you guys see the debris, and if you haven't been there, another suggestion they had, maybe this is something, I mean, not like you guys have anything else going on, but if it's something that somebody has the time to do and the resources to do, they had a really good suggestion. Some people obviously are they're not hurrying down to see their property because they just assume it's gone or they know it's gone. But if someone could do a street by street video, say this is Aberdeen, this is what, and do a street by street video and get it uploaded so people could see, at least a glimpse of their home or what their home looks like, or, is it worth them coming down? Because I'm still getting emails and calls and texts about, I'm planning on coming down this weekend. Should I come down? Is my house okay? And, I can't go around and check on everyone's houses as much as I'd love to. I can't do that. But if someone is on the island and they have some time, if their home is done and they have the capability to, take a video of every street and just upload, a couple streets a night or something, maybe that could help. Maybe that could help people see their homes, see the debris that's in front of their homes, maybe try to make some plans without actually having to physically be there.
And it doesn't have to be one person does all. It could be different people on different streets.
Sure.
Hey, when you were talking about how dark it is and that it's unsafe, like to have workers down there, when they're doing construction like DOT, wherever, at night they have those big lights that will like practically take an x-ray of you. What about, I don't know, can the state bring those big lights down for certain areas so that people could work 24/7? If you had people that were working different shifts, and then then they would be able to see.
Yeah, and I asked that question too, and it even if you have those big bright lights, light doesn't obviously go everywhere. If you have a big grappler or something that's trying to pick up the debris removal, it doesn't cover, once that blocks the light, what are you grabbing? You just can't see as well as you can. So it's not out of the question, but it's something that is obviously much more dangerous, especially if you've got people moving around and other cars moving around. Hopefully the FPL will be able to get some lights down Estero Boulevard soon, so that'll help alleviate some of that and be able to get people moving around a little bit more.
Those lights are bright.
Yeah, they're exactly what they take up space too. They're a big base plus the mast that goes up, and then they have to have the generators that run them and the noise and all that. Not that we are worried about the noise right now, but
or the light trespass. We're not worried about that.
Yeah, the people that are assisting the town with this, and the county, it's not their first go around. They've been through a lot, just like the USR teams. This wasn't. They're very calm. They're very cool. They're very collected. They know their job. They're professionals. So we have to listen to their recommendations. And if their recommendations is to do it this way, then I think we have to listen to them because, they've been through a lot of these. Most of us, probably most of us, if not all of us, have never been through something like this. So it's important to listen to the people who have, take their suggestions, implement some of your own, make it better so that unfortunately when the next thing happens to someone else, if it's not us, maybe we can offer them suggestions from what we learned.
All right, Dan. Well, we always appreciate your time, and we'll check in with you tomorrow if there's new news, and we'll probably see you at the Buttonwood location tomorrow in the morning.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you too.
Thank
Dan
you.
Allers, everybody. And I never like to say this while he's on, but if you don't know, he is going to be the mayor when the election comes up. And I'm not saying that at a line. Everybody knows that Karen will probably win the election. Then it's just a question, in my opinion, nothing against Patrick, love Patrick, that it will either be Murphy or John King. And then there's enough votes on the council right now to make Dan the mayor and Jim Adderholt the vice mayor. So that's coming up in like 4 weeks. So don't forget to vote. You can still go out to vote. And if you don't know how to vote, well, I know you know how to vote, but with this crazy stuff going on, you can go back and listen to our episode with Tommy Doyle because he laid it out that
Someone
you can go anywhere.
suggested that we reiterate that in another week or so when people, because when he was on and he had a lot of good information, but it might have been at a time when people were just so focused on their houses and that kind of stuff. So it would be good to either have him back on or
I agree.
Do a re go of that, because as that approaches, people are going to hopefully have some of their house stuff settled and can focus on that.
We're about to blow up Marie's email again. If you want a shirt, you can pre-order a shirt. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the brand new shirt logo on the front is going to be this one that we have here, and on the back is going to say Beach Talk Radio. Kim's about to model it for us as she turn around. You're going to be the Yellow Army, and oh, she looks lovely. And so you can pre-order the shirt. It's $30, $35 if we have to mail it, or you can make a donation for whatever dollar amount you want. Over 30, you can't make it for like 10 or 12 or something like that. But everything over the cost of the shirts is going back into the fund for the employee gift cards, which we're getting out every day now, making calls to as many managers as we can with the cards coming in. And we really need the push for the gift cards. That's the big goal now. We're probably going to put about $150,000 of the money you contributed into the women's club. Not probably, at least that much into the women's club and the community foundation, because we did spend some of that money on supplies for this Buttonwood location when we first got started. And then after 200,000, which we reached the other day, all the money over 200,000 is going to the employees. So just be patient. All the information about the $500 check for the residents is now on the top page of our website, not the Facebook page, the website, beachtalkradionews.com. So you can go there and get all the information about when that money is going to be pushed out. And there are a bunch of other events going on where they're going to add money to the kitty. So we hope you spread the word about our page and our show, and especially how people can donate. And then finally, Marie is ready to go. She's on a double energy drink, and she's ready to take your emails. These are pre-orders for the shirts. The shirts will be in on Saturday. The first batch of the shirts will be in on Saturday, and then we'll have another batch probably next week. And we use turtle shirts. I don't even know how to shut it off. We use turtle shirts, and Angie's been great turning them around in like 2 or 3 days. So well,
I'm just looking feverishly for my scribbled notes from things that they need down there, but I think we got some of the good ones, and we'll try and keep updating like list of supplies.
Yeah.
But I mean the tools
are big.
Tools.
The generators are obviously big.
Those
power
big
tools
brooms, those big brooms with the squeegee on the other side, so smart.
Know that.
Yeah, so they need those. Well, I was using a snow shovel today because there was an unfortunate accident with some cat food, so I cleaned that up for everybody. But they're set on that.
No more clothes. I don't
no
think
more clothes and no more pet food. They're set with
pet
that.
food. Plenty of pet food. And we got whose dog was that just came in the picture?
Darla.
Oh, okay. My sister's dog is here. We have plenty of clothes. I think Goodwill, the Kiwanis is overloaded with clothes. So if you have any questions about clothes, just call the Kiwanis.
Window AC units, dehumidifiers,
goggles. Don't forget the goggles. And remember to wear your mask when you're out there, because you definitely don't know what you're mixing in and getting your stuff. We don't want you getting sick out there. We're trying to clean up your house.
I think unless they got some laundry detergent, because that had and somebody asked me for stain remover.
Has that Tide portable Tide thing been seen? I heard people asking about it. Like Tide's got this truck with a.
We're good on. I think there's quite a few. Craig, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a lot of. We've been getting a steady supply of contractor bags in.
Right. Okay. Well, I did want to mention that I heard yesterday from Jim that the town council meeting for next week was being planned for off island. And so Dan's information tonight about on island is a little conflicting, but as soon as we know for sure, I mean, I'm guessing we're going to know tomorrow when the meeting is, because I know a lot of you want to go to the meeting, and really the best place for you to go to a meeting like that would be off island, so you don't have to deal with the traffic, and you can get out of the traffic, get away from the traffic, so people that really want to get on the island and do the work or get into their house and don't want to go to the meeting can actually have less traffic. So it only makes sense to do it off the island, but what do I know?
So,
podcaster.
Yeah, you're being negative. Did a mask came in today? Yes, we got some masks in today. The shirt color is this yellow.
Yes, I love yellow.
Dry rid. We've been getting some of that damp rid stuff in, so that that might help.
Any other questions that we can answer? We're nobodies, but we don't mind hanging out for another 2 minutes to answer any questions. We do talk to a lot of people. I did have a short conversation with the guy from FEMA today because I had a question about something. And so we do have access to some people, being that we're the press. If you and we do keep asking. We do ask about the debris and the cars and how do you get a boat out of the canal and how do you get a house off the yard?
Questions. You go on and on. Who's the attorney that you recommend? It's Lenore.
Lenore, yes, Lenore. Right. I don't want to screw up her last name, but if you need the attorney's name, just send me an email and I will send it to you. Ed Ryan, the editor at gmail.com. I have in my notes, I have all the important names. I'll just copy it and paste it to you. It's got her phone number. It's got the firm's phone number on it.
Yes,
all
Dave is working his butt off every time in those videos. He
doesn't just jump into the video and say camera's rolling. Or is that just Byron?
Oh, no, he didn't. I mean, like I said, I didn't even.
Did Byron really break a sweat out there today?
Yeah. Well, he's in shape, so he was doing it. But Dan, Craig, Megan, there's so many people that all the volunteers, they can always use more volunteers because there's a lot of stuff to go through. Everybody down there is working.
There's a
very,
question
very
for you, dear.
hard.
How do you get rid of all the sludge?
That's a good question, but you've got to
3 bells for Kim.
Shove it out, rake it out.
That's not a technical answer to the question. Shove it out.
Someone donated, what's the shop vac? And so they could use those. They could use shop vac.
Shop vac sludge?
Well, the water. And then when it rains, if people's, roofs or windows aren't intact.
No water.
Roofs and windows.
I think you got to rake it out or something, right? If there's no water, it's just like, it's like thick. It's almost like cement.
Said it was like sliding in baby poop, and I was like, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, we've done that in a while. So we do have tarps. We brought. What am I bringing down tomorrow so people know? By the way, I will be there at like 5:30. I'm not sitting in that line. So if you want something that she's packed in the trunk, you can get up and
kitty litter. Kitty litter. Yes, that was the thing. Kitty litter is good for soaking up stuff.
No kidding.
Yep.
So what's in the truck? What did you put in the truck?
Well, some of the newer things are the extension cords. Okay. Those are coming.
If you need an extension cord, I'm your man.
Little propane if people have camping stoves. There's a few more tarps came, more contractor bags.
Any tools? Am I going down with any?
There's some.
Yeah. You don't want to say how many? Why? There's only one?
There's very few.
So I will be there at 5:30 at the Buttonwood location unloading. If you want to come down and take some of the goodie stuff here, if you don't need food. But then, there's John right there, everybody. That is, I want to make sure we recognize John. If you're sitting at home watching, John donated the 8 generators that we gave out in 5 minutes today. He's now, for some reason, he's mailing me a megaphone like I need one, but John is awesome.
Yeah, he's telling you to get yours out, but you already have one.
He sent down more than that. He sent down masks and a bunch of other stuff. He was listing off all the stuff he sent, and I was like, John, man, wow, that's cool. 8 generators just show up in your driveway, and then the other stuff that he sent down too. Everything that's on the list, he's been sending down. So thank you so much to John.
And I will say the generators, they had a few generators down there, but they went quick. And the idea is that you use them and then you give them to the next person, a neighbor or whatever that needs one, or you bring it back to Buttonwood so that they can give it out to the next person.
How would somebody not need a generator anymore?
Once they get cleaned up and
what if they're living in their house?
That's different. But
I see.
Saying, if they're just using it for the days that they're there to clean up and then they out to give it to somebody or bring it back.
I am going to start the music because we have gone on way too long. It's like a Saturday show that we do. It just never ends. It just goes on and on and on. We're hoping to do our Saturday show on the beach in the rubble around Times Square if we can. We're going to try and get over there and bring you the show there on Saturday morning. We usually do it at 9:00.
We do have an Amazon.
On wish list.
Amazon wish list. Sue, if you're listening, can you put that up?
Yes, I have been over, Rhonda. I was over 2 or 3 times, the day after on my bike. There's a video on the page with me riding my bike up and down Estero Boulevard.
And there was video that I took yesterday. It feels like it was a while ago, going up and down the Estero Boulevard.
Are we ready to go? I got to go potty.
Yep.
All right, everybody, say it with me. Bye-bye.
Down here at the donation site, and more 2 trucks, another truck rolled in. All right, can you tell us your name and where you guys are from?
I'm Sierra. I'm from Interiors by Stephen G, and we brought 3 truckloads. Today we're doing this truck right now and distributing all the items and goods for you guys for the hurricane relief.
And can you say the name again, because I think they were busy.
Yes. We're with Interiors by Stephen G.
And where are you located?
We are located in Pompano Beach, Florida.
Pompano Beach, Florida. So you came all the way over here with the truck. How was the ride over?
The ride was very good. We had the Florida Highway Patrol help escort us, so that was great.
Hey, that's a nice way to go, right? How many guys did you bring with you? It looks like you did.
brought almost our entire warehouse team.
Wow.
Yes.
And so I see lots of water coming out. What other things do you know that's on the?
We have a bunch of personal hygiene. We have, oh my gosh, there's so many. We have a ton. We have pet food. We have women's hygiene products. We have so many. And then we also have the Embrace Girls. They brought some boxes too as well. So
The who was that?
Embrace Girls Foundation.
Do you know about that?
Yes, we actually have the CEO and founder. She's
Up
in
there.
there, so we can talk to her. This is Steven.
Hi, Stephen. Kim Ryan, Beach Talk Radio. Thank you so much for bringing all this stuff over. I mean, like your shirt says, kindness is free. And we really appreciate you bringing stuff. Now, don't you get all clamped on me. You're going to make me look unprofessional here.
Pleasure.
Yes. So thanks for coming over. You came all the way over from Pompano?
We are from Pompano Beach, and we have done every hurricane relief since Hurricane Andrew. We did Louisiana, we did Staten Island, we did the Rockaways, we did New Jersey, we did Freeport, Bahamas. We've done them all. We did Baton Rouge in Louisiana, where we dropped off a 53-foot trailer with Christmas gifts for hundreds of children so they would have a Christmas.
What has given you this passion to do this great work?
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We're just so grateful and so thankful. Come right in.
When you're blessed in life and you're successful, you need to give back to the community regardless where. So we have been involved for years. We continue to be. We're even here today with one of our charities that we're very heavily involved with called Embrace Girls Foundation, that we're very passionate, and Velma Lawrence is with us today, the founder of Embrace. We have our friends from Channel 10 here.
Yeah, see
on
that.
the East Coast, and this is all about help and the heart.
Well, we really, really appreciate it. And your generosity is overwhelming. And we just, all of the people here cannot thank you enough for bringing your crew and your supplies and everything over here.
We have had a tremendous amount of support and help from the East Coast community. We have received tens of thousands of dollars in donations, and we shopped for every bit of it. We were hoping that there would actually be people here to accept, because we also bought a ton of Publix
Gift cards.
so that I hope there's a Publix open where they could go in.
Not on the island right now, but off island, and they're working hard to get that Publix up and running, you know, and as you know, this is going to be a long-term kind of go. So people will use those in the future, hopefully in the near future.
When we did the Key West, when they were hitting the Keys, we thought that was bad until we'd gotten here.
Have you been across island yet to see? Yeah. Yeah? No?
What I've seen so far is definitely to everybody, the littlest adds up.
Right. Every little bit.
You got to give.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been my pleasure. Thank you. All right, folks. So there's a guy with a big heart and bringing all this stuff, and his compassion for everybody and his dedication to taking all this stuff and collecting all of that is just amazing. Let's try right now to see who else from the Embrace Foundation. So are you with the Embrace Girls Foundation? And what's your name?
I'm Delma Lauren.
Nice to meet you.
Very same here.
And can you tell us about what the Embrace Foundation is?
The Embrace Girls Foundation is a 501c3 charity.
Okay.
It's a nonprofit here in Florida. We are South Florida based, Broward and Dade County. We provide after-school programs for little girls. And so Stephen G is one of our sponsors.
Yeah, he's great.
He sent us a note and said that he needed help. So we packed up our boxes.
And what are in those boxes?
You know what? I don't know why. The thing that I like the most are reading glasses. I'm just obsessed with the reading. Oh, it says on the boxes what they are.
Oh, oil of Olay, so
Yeah,
personal
oil,
hygiene stuff. Yeah.
Personal hygiene, reading glasses, even stationery, paper, pencils, paper pads. Okay.
I know. Well, thank you. I'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much for bringing it over. And they are just working like crazy to bring this stuff in. All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for this little clip. And I'm going to go help unload some boxes because, you know, that's what I do.
Kim's a rock star.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
That's fine. I'm all for